All right, peace and power, family. This is your sister, Dr. R.ASPECT, coming before you once again to show you another organization that's doing some powerful, powerful things in the Baltimore City community. Earlier today, we went to Everyone's Place. Then after that, we went to Reflections Eternal, Conscious Heads Bookstore, or Conscious Heads Barbershop. We met with some brothers from Reality Speaks. Now we're here in front of the Temple of New African Thought. The minister here is Minister Asar. So we're getting ready to interview Minister Asar and his father, Baba Asar, and also Sankofa, who is also Minister Asar's assistant. So peace.
All right.
Hotep.
All right, peace.
Hotep, Baba Asar. Hotep. Hotep. Okay, so I'm with Minister Asar. He's the head here at the Temple of New African Thought.
You got this. Oh, I love this. Yeah.
Peace, love, and power. This is your girl, DR.MAAT, coming before you once again to present another powerful organization in the Baltimore community that's doing wondrous things in the community. I have with me to my left brother Minister Asar of the Temple of New African Thought. To his left, we have brother Sankofa, and then to his left, we have Baba Asar. And so we're going to speak with Minister Asar about his organization, when it was founded, why it was founded, and some of the things that you have going on in the community.
Okay, peace and power. Amani Nine Guvu, as we say here at the Temple of New African Thought, that says basically means peace and power, or peace and strength. Peace. I'm about to say Minister, Doctor, Sister, Mayat, and BABATV. Thanks for coming by, because that's some good work there. So our organization, the Temple New African Thought, aka TNET, officially as TNET, we've been in existence since 2015, as you see in that logo right there. But we kind of grew out of another organization where we kind of founded the chapter here, if I can use founded the chapter here, or started the chapter here, under the umbrella of Dr. Ray Hagan's organization, before we kind of decided to go another route. But we started off back in Brother Sankofa, myself, Baba. We kind of started our organizing as the temple in 2009, 2010?
I say 2009.
2010. So we've been kind of doing it since that time. We just about 2015 changed our name. We've been kind of independent. Even when we were under that umbrella, we were like the youngest organization, the youngest chapter. I would say we were the most active chapter of Dr. Ray Hagan's organization, to such a degree, even some envy came out of it, to be honest with you. But definitely, we've been doing it for a little while.
For a little while. So to answer your question, Minister Saul, what brought you into consciousness? I know that you and I have talked on the telephone, and you told me how you grew up with your dad and the things that he instilled in you. And so what brought you into consciousness?
Okay.
What was your journey? So
consciousness, I don't want to make that all complex, because I can get a little complex, right? But
African culture.
So my father, if you can look at him, he got the whole regalia on, you know what I'm saying? So he basically force fed me African culture. No, he didn't. Really, he didn't. He kind of did, because he was like, look.
I feel like this: if somebody gonna be brainwashing my son, let it be me.
Right.
All right. So brainwashing him to the way of the degree of understanding who he is, still somebody else doing it.
Right. But the thing about him is, although he gave us this culture, and he's been through, I've seen this man go through his Black Panther leather hats and tams all the way up to the shaman you see before you. You see what I'm saying? But he went through all of that, right? So it helped me out. In fact, so I grew up in that, and so nonetheless, he's been teaching me these things, but he never really knew it. I kind of took hold of it. Of conscious or African thought. He really didn't think that I took hold of it, because a lot of our children go through these processes, and later on they're like, look, I don't want nothing to do with that thing. You know what I'm saying? But you about to say something?
No, I understand.
But I think what he did which was different, is that he didn't stop me from doing everything. He's like a very balanced guy. I could still listen to Biggie Smalls. 5 o'clock. No, that's the wrong song. But he listened to Biggie Smalls with me.
Right.
So he never really stopped me from knowing what was in the world. So, but when I was 5 years old, he made African cool. When I was 10, he made being African cool. I wanted to wear the MC Hammer looking African pants. You understand, with the little extra hangers. They don't make those no more. But yeah, so I got it from that. But when in my 20s, I started a lot of businesses. I've done really well in business, and that's pretty much why we had the model of the way that we operate now.
Because you all also have affiliated with TNET, it's the Black Business.
Brother, talk a bit.
It's the Black Business Network, right?
The
Conscious Black Business Network is also under the umbrella of TNET, or did...
So the Conscious Black Business Network is actually under the umbrella of Winkler Investor Group, which is also, all of them affiliated. Winkler Investor Group, which is our real estate investing component. Temple New African Thought is like the umbrella, but then you also have Conscious Black Business Network, which is a part of the umbrella as well.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
so then in your 20s, what happened? So
in my 20s, I went to school, I stopped, I'm a non-traditional student, right? So I stopped, I started making money. I started making some money I never even thought I could make. I started making more money than what I was going to get. What they was telling me that 30, 40,000 back then, 50,000. I started making some super money. I was doing real estate. I had a truck rental business. I had, what else I was doing? Truck rental business, real estate. A lot of different businesses I had, and I was very successful in my 20s. Satellite communication installation company I had. So I had a lot of guys, and I made some good money off of that. So, but nonetheless, I was tired of it. I was kind of tired of the hustle, the bustle, the cutthroat, the white supremacy, in the contracting arena, and all these type of things. So I really got into real estate a little bit deeper. But I actually started with this company called Network USA, which was a network marketing company. Y'all know, what do they call them? Multi-level marketing. And basically what happened is I was going around these people, and I thought fun had stopped. I thought I couldn't have fun no more because I got out of school. I had a lot of fun in high school, right? But what happened was I started getting with these people, and they were very motivational. They were very happy. They had a lot of energy, right? And they kept saying, like, come to my church, or you gotta believe in Jesus, and they were getting their circle. I had no problem with that. My father never taught me like to hate anybody for their religion or anything like that. But what happened is I took a young lady, an African sister. I took her to Virginia because I was helping her build her real estate company. So I'm taking her to Virginia to one of our meetings, and she tell me, Dennis, she said, do you believe in Christ? I said, at that time I was like, Christ, he like a brother, he's like a brother. He's like nobody different than me. He's like, like what I taught, because we used to have something called, what was it called, Baba? The Temple of Maat? Yeah. I actually had the Universal African Church, the Temple of Maat here in Baltimore. But they taught me a lot of stuff.
But hold up, Minister. So what did she say to you?
She told me, Dennis, I used to be Muslim. She said, and I'm not Muslim no more, I'm Christian. If you don't confess in Christ, you will go to hell. I said, what? I'm like, really, like, I'm telling you, I'd never been around that before. So I didn't know how to take that. So I'm like in my mid-20s at this time. And I'm telling me, I'm talking to this lady. I'm saying, so you're telling me that if I'm helping people, if I'm working for my community, right, if I'm feeding people, in fact, I'm taking you 200 miles to Virginia, Richmond right now to help you start a business, and that's not enough? She said, no, you're going to go to hell. And I said, what? So I'm like, what I can't believe, like, I heard stories. But again, I grew up in a conscious household, right? I went to church with my grandmother a few times, but I didn't know it was real serious like that. I didn't know that people, like, I could do all the good in the world, and then I'm going to go to hell. just because I don't confess in Jesus died on the cross and rose again on the third day, and I gotta believe in all these tenets. And once I don't believe in one of those tenets, now I'm going to hell. And then I said, hold up, all right, I gotta do something different, because my father taught me something. Hold up, I gotta get sharper. You know, this is like in my 20s, my mid 20s, and I said, hold on, I got look, where that book at? Because I mean, I would say I'm African centered, but that's from what he's taught me. So I'm naturally living this African centered life of loving my people. I had to learn a lot of stuff. I'm going to just digress for a second. I had to learn a lot of stuff because my father told me Africans are the most beautiful people. We are beautiful, and it don't matter if we're naked, if we got clothes on, if we got rings in our nose. And I totally agree with that still today. But when the Nigerian brothers and sisters came here, and they worked for me, I had a lot of Nigerians work for me. I had to learn that they would actually get over on me, because I was so in love with my people. I did not really think that they would get over on me. They even told me how they would get over on me. You know, I'm telling you, they taught me. They look, because some of them were my good friends. Some of them are still my good friends. So they're like, look, bro, you got a fax message, a fax that said that. Oh, don't mess with those Nigerian brothers and sisters, because they will get you. But nonetheless, what I'm saying is I had to learn to kind of put up some boundaries between me and black people. Because my father taught me black is beautiful, and black is, you know, and Africans, brothers and sisters and all that. So I had to learn to put some boundaries up. But going back to the sister, she told me I was going to hell. And I couldn't believe it. We going back and forth. And I felt like I was unprepared. So I said, hold up, where's Nile Valley civilization at, Baba? And you know, it's one thing me trying to articulate it, but I can't articulate it. And Nile Valley civilization got all the dates, the dynastic periods, and all these different things. And that's kind of like when it all started for me. Like, I had to really go deep into my studying. Right. And I'll be honest, differences are not with Dr. Ray Hagen's. He had like a crash course. WBLR.com. I went to Dr. Ray Hagen's, man. My father told me about Dr. Ray. This is back in 2000 and something, maybe 19 something, I don't know, 2000 and something. He's like, yeah, this man got a church or something. I thought it was in D.C. So I started looking him up. Then I started listening to the things he got. And it was like a crash course, because Dr. Ray got 24/7 information. You know what I'm saying? So I started studying deeper and deeper, heavier and heavier. So then I said, look, I'm gonna start one. I'm like a optimist, prime type of brother, where I'm a businessman. Right. I got 3-4 businesses going. I'm gonna start a temple. I'm gonna start a temple in my 20s, right? I meet this brother. You know, Baba like, look, I got you, but look, I'm back here. I don't know the story. So he'll tell you. He can tell you better than I can ever tell you, right? But so I see this. So I met this brother, but nonetheless, I'm trying to start a temple. There's some conflict between us and DC. They want to own everything. They want to meet in the library. I got a building. They don't want to do that because our egos. But nonetheless, they're not in existence no more. But what I'm saying is this. I started back in probably 2008 with the African Village. And from there, I haven't turned back. I haven't turned back. I'm saying on my own path, without where my father was like, he said, you know what he said? He said he started chilling a little bit. He said, hold up, but I can look. He bringing it. He making it.
It wasn't chilling. What it was this? You get to a point, right, in life. Okay, so you feel your people, you love your people. Right. So you try to do all you can for your people, and you try to teach them, bring them over here, and give them your history. And then after a while, as you get older, you get tired. Tired of beating it into, like, say for instance, like Baba Dick Gregory. At the end of his lifespan, Baba got tired and he got frustrated. Right. So see, his frustration came out as he did. And so I was the same way. I was like, you know what, I love my people, but that's it. Right. I ain't gonna try to turn nobody over to anything. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. So I say forget it. Until these two young men right here started putting the thing together, and Baba, come here, Baba, and you know, and I'm coming, and so all of a sudden I found myself back in the fight again. You see what I'm saying? Because we must know this: it's war. See, if we don't know it's war, we don't fight like it's war. We don't defend like it's war. You see what I'm saying? So this war that we in, these young men was playing a heavy part, and I looked at them, I was like, you know what? I call this one captain, deacon, whatever you want to call, amen, corner man, but they good together. You see, and they so good together, so I had to come back. I had to come back.
So we started the Temple, the African Village at that time. Then Temple New African Thought came, subsequently. But nonetheless, so we started the Temple New African Thought, and I got so this is what I want to say. So basically, answering your question, it started for me. The seeds were planted very early. When I started going to the Universal African Church, the Temple of Mayat, the guy was saying, like, look, his feet was, like bronze and brass, and and he was like, that's the same thing as Asa and all this thing. And I'm like, hold up. They was like, Jesus ain't like no God to you. He's like a brother. So, cause God is we all children of God and all this stuff. I'm like, damn, that makes sense. And so my critical thinking skills as I was younger, I couldn't really like eat this stuff that they was trying to tell me because it wasn't working. So nonetheless, he didn't know that those seeds had planted, but I knew that they had planted. So I knew that at this point in my life, I have children. I have 2 young men. And there's no way that I'm allow my children to be out here and not have a place, a community, a culture where they can benefit from. Right. So nonetheless, I started the Temple, the African Village at that time. This brother right here, all right, he'll tell you the rest.
So my name is Sankofa, Marcus Sankofa Nix. So to get back to, I think the initial question you had was, how do we link up? How do we meet? So my story is I was a college student at Bowie State University. It was my senior year, and at that time I had already transitioned from being an athlete, playing basketball, and I was really heavy into, I would say, self-discovery, reading, learning, studying about myself, our ancestors, our people, our culture. And so there was a group, I think it was at the time the African Village Study Group, DC Baltimore Study Group. We was at the library on a given Saturday, and this brother right here was there, and
that was your home. I was visiting.
So I was going there from time to time, doing some studying, just to try to stay connected with brothers and sisters who was into the culture. And so on a particular Saturday, the brother ended up coming. Minister Alsar was there, and right off the bat, we hit it off. I joked with him. I remember the first words I said to him. We had this big old chain with the Ankh, and he had a black long sleeve shirt with the Ankh on it. I said something to the effect of, "Don't be coming in here, brother, with that big old icy Ankh," and everybody started laughing and everything. And he, afterwards we talked, and he had shared his business experience with me and everything. And I had shared with him my aspirations and that I wanted to be active. I had a passion for working with children, young people. He had informed me that he had 2 sons that he wanted to also learn and grow in the culture. And so from that, we met, we sat down. And as time took its course, we ended up just continuing to work together, and fast forward till now, here we are. So we've been through a lot together, and so we've had different locations. We didn't even start here on 3221 Bel Air Road. We actually started on Lochner Road. From there, I believe was the real estate office.
Real estate office in DR.MAAT.
Right. So 1407 Lochner Road, I believe, was the address. In the basement, right. That's where we started off there. From there, we went to North Avenue, 25 North Avenue. When we first went in, we were in the second floor, the upper level, still doing the community work. And then after that, there was a fire that took place. We evacuated us and everybody who had a unit or a space in the building. Then in time, we went back in. While all that happened, the family still stayed together. We still continued to do what we did, could still continue to meet and fellowship. But when we went back in that building where we were on North Avenue, we ended up going into the basement that time. And so we went into the basement, and then at that point, we were there for some time, and we said it'd be better, for us to put ourselves in the best position to be able to really connect with our brothers and sisters, with our people. And so with that being said, we transition here to where we are currently, 3221 Bel Air Road.
Can I touch on that?
Sure.
When he say connect with our brothers and sisters, keep in mind, we're in Baltimore, right?
Yes.
Baltimore is a pretty tough city. It has yin and yang, or all sides of it, all aspects. So, but nonetheless, we were on North Avenue, and that's a very urban area. But it wasn't probably even more urban to an extent. But this area here is a all black, urban. What we call in Baltimore the hood area, right? So coming here, you know that there's drugs. Right. You know that there's people getting shot. When we came here, it was a bullet hole right here. You know, when you come here, you gotta ask brothers and sisters with peace in your heart. Brothers, can y'all move on? You know, and some of them are not going to be too kind to you asking them to move on. Right. So we are in an urban, what we call hood area here. I don't really subscribe to any of those terms, right. but nonetheless, that's where we at. And that's what he means is we actually had to make that decision to come where our people are, and our people are there. Right. But coming here, we know that it was going to be a whole different territory, because this is one of the roughest areas in Baltimore. I didn't even know it until I came around here. Because I didn't know, because at different times it might look different. It does. But for the most part, it's a strip. I mean, you can get anything out there. Anything. Good stuff, bad stuff. But we have impacted the community in a way, not as where we want to be, but we have impacted and brought some light.
I was going to get ready to ask you that. So people from the community have been coming in.
We do. We actually have people that live in this community that come here. Yes. Yeah, actually, we have an elder from this community even. That's probably like, I don't know, she doesn't tell her age, but I would imagine she's almost 80 at least, if she's not there yet. Very beautiful elder. Yes. Yes.
Been in the community for 45 years.
Right. Yeah.
She's been here for 45 years.
She's been a resident of this community for over 45 years.
She came here before white flight happened. Gotcha. So she's seen the whole process. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know that you guys run lectures, you hold lectures here at the Temple of New African. Mm-hmm. Can you share with the viewers who's come? I know that you had a series of lectures. You guys were running a series a few months ago where you were bringing in like a lecturer every week. So can you tell us, can you name some of the lecturers who came, and then also what's coming up?
Sure. So just like Minister Alsar said a few moments ago, what you're speaking to is our Conscious Black Business Network Communiversity Lecture Series. And so that is pretty much under the umbrella of our Conscious Black Business Network, which is our media platform. On that platform, we did other things as well, too, from having our radio shows to doing a number of other things. But with the lecture series, our Communiversity Lecture Series, the main point is to be able to bring empowering information, not necessarily always feel-good information, but information, research that's transformative, that could invoke critical thinking, and that could provide a dialogue so we could be able to heal our minds, bodies, and spirits. Mm-hmm. So we've had a lineup. We've had an extensive lineup. So we've had people who have come to speak, like the likes of Dr. Max T. Ragland, who's come and he spoke on transition therapy and the mind. With transition therapy, those who are transitioning from being incarcerated, coming into regular society, and he spoke about that. Also, Dr. Henry Gregory spoke about the illusions of life, the illusions of fear, the illusion of separation, and what it's going to take to be able to have us heal and actually think with reality, so to speak, if that makes sense. He also does a lot of work dealing with the mind. We've also had Dr. Jared Ball, who came and spoke about the myth of black buying power. And his aim was to not necessarily provide a solution, but to play his part in debunking the myth. And the myths, we have a lot of myths. And that's a lot of what keeps us as a people mentally bounded. And so he spoke about the myth of black buying power, how it's talked about, and so he brought some research, he brought some studies and some case studies to the forefront, and we talked about it so we can be able to reframe this discussion of black economics and black buying power and what it is that we can do to move ahead as a people. Also, we've had a joint lecture presentation by Minister Al-Sar and Baba Al-Sar, double dose of healing, cultivating the mind, body, spirit. So with that, dealing with the mind, some modalities and techniques and ways to heal the body, whether it's Qigong or Tai Chi or mindfulness meditation, and the paradigms we have that continue to keep us enslaved mentally and physically. Myself, yours truly, in February provided a lecture presentation just dealing with the educational system and what it is that we can be able to do to be able to make sure that all of us, adults, our children, our youth, can be able to educate ourselves in the healthiest, most effective, best way. And so we also had Morgan State dealing with reparations. A name is coming to me right now.
Dr. Wimbush.
Yes, yeah, Dr. Raymond Winbush, who came from Morgan State, and he spoke about the reparations, and the argument regarding that. What does that look like? What are reparations? What do they mean? How can they be obtained? Can they be obtained? So, as I said before, we've, continued to have lecture presentations, periodically each month. And so as part of our University Lecture Series, as part of our third annual N2 Festival, which is actually going to be a 2-day event. But the first day, which is going to be Saturday, August 4th, we're going to have a panel discussion.
So what time is it?
That's going to be from 4:30 to 8:30. Doors open at 4 o'clock p.m., 3221 Bel Air Road, Baltimore, Maryland, right here where we're sitting right now.
Can we get tickets online or?
So you can register for the event. It's $20, and it's going to, and you can go to templeofnat.org and register, or you can go to consciousblackbusiness.com and register.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So who's going to be on the panel?
So on the panel discussion, we have Imhotep Assis Fatiyu, who's a community organizer. He also is the first urban philosopher. He has an organization that he founded, Pan-African Liberation Movement. We have Dr. Jared Ball, social political commentator, a writer, and does a lot with the media. We have the community activist and marketing extraordinaire, David Murphy, who's on the ground doing a lot of work, and he also has a business dealing with publications and marketing. We also have Sister Kenyatta Macon Moon, who's the founder of Instroma Academy, who's an educator. We have this gentleman here to my left, to your right, Baba Sifu Asar, who's the founder of Sukima. That's our Spirit of Kemet Internal Martial Art Academy. And so he's going to be coming from how to deal with the body, how to deal with the mind, how to deal with the spirit. That's his contribution to the panel discussion and much more, I'd say. We also have the herbalist and the holistic health practitioner, Ishmael Murray, who's going to be coming, and he's going to be on the panel as well. We also have Dr. Henry Gregory, a psychotherapist. He's going to be also on the panel as well. We also have, and of course, cannot leave out Booker T. Coleman, Kaba Hiawatha Kamene, who's going to serve on our panel for that day as well, too. The professor, he's been on Hidden Colors, educational consultant, and also on the second day, because as I said, the N2 Festival is a 2-day event. So the second day, on Sunday, August 5th, he's going to serve as our keynote speaker. And our very own Minister Al-Sar on that second day is going to provide closing remarks as well. But back to Saturday, August 4th, it's going to be a panel discussion. The theme is going to be breaking the chains of psychological slavery, reclaiming our minds, bodies, and spirits. So it's going to be a panel discussion that is going to provoke critical thinking. It's going to be a constructive dialogue. It's about how can we pull the pieces together from different aspects, different perspectives, and different viewpoints to be able to come together and to be able to understand each other and to come together. So that's what it's going to be about.
So we did a few lectures. I can't remember them, but we did Conscious Black Business Network with Brother Jabari, Survivors Nations.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I do know that Dr.MAAT was here in the house, full house, all the way back to the back. You know what I'm saying? Talking about duality. Yeah. So talking about duality. I can't remember what else we did here with Brother Jabari, but I know we did. Dr.MAAT was here.
Jabari did Nat Turner.
Oh, Brother Jabari. Yeah, he did a presentation here on Nat Turner. I heard y'all was down at Brother Jabari's spot earlier, right?
Yeah, we went
Right.
earlier.
And
And then,
there's the sister psychologist.
Who that?
The sister.
Dr. Patricia Newton?
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Patricia Newton.
Well,
she hasn't came yet.
she's supposed to come. Yeah.
But we did didn't we have something to do with the lecture when she came here?
The lecture?
With Jabari?
Well, oh yeah, we did we did that not here because she was asking about specifically, but we did joint with Brother Jabari over at the church, and so numerous other things we done. Like we had Malefic. Well, we did have Dr. Malefic Asante here last year for our event, right? So yeah, so we had
And even the Amin Ross squad, as he
Amin Ross squad been here,
on Sunday before.
right?
Everybody's connected.
Right.
Everybody's connected.
Absolutely.
Everybody's connected.
Yeah.
I want Baba Assad to talk with the viewers about his program. You said the name of his program is called
Sokima. I've been loving martial arts since Bruce Lee. Let's say that. Okay, as children we used to make little things to fight with. But what happens is that we are the creators of creation. Okay, so we created what you call so-called martial arts. So I call it Sokima, the spirit of Kemet, internal martial arts. Okay, and then it's also Mantu Chi Ru. So I wanted to put a balance of things in it because I do karate, I also do Tai Chi, Bakwa and Shengi, and we do meditation, and we do Qigong. You see what I'm saying? So Mantu Chi Ru is warrior. You see what I'm saying? In Kemet. And then Chi is the energy force of it all. Right. And then Ru just means school, because I took up Shorin Ru. You feel what I'm saying? So the mixture of that art is a healing force, and it's a spiritual force, and it's holistic, because the 5 elements I teach in Qigong, and the 5 elements I teach in what they call Shorin Ru. Oh, Shorin Ru, thank you. Shorin Ru is that you have to tap into all your organs. You have to know where your organs, located. A lot of people, believe it or not, don't even know where the liver is located or the spleen is located. You see what I'm saying? So we teach you to learn where your organs is to love yourself. You see, it came to me one day. I was doing Tai Chi in the park, and this thing about know thou self. And I was all into knowing thyself. I was trying to teach my son, know thyself. Everybody know thyself. But this one particular day, I was doing Tai Chi. Man, it was peaceful, and I was moving, and I was thinking about what my Master Debril, peace be upon him, was teaching me. And then it came to me like a light bulb. I say, ancient Kemet say, know thyself. So not knowing my culture like I was doing, learning all about Africa. I learned about all tribes, about everybody. You see what I'm saying? Piece of it, you see what I'm saying? So that is a piece of knowing thyself. But that day, that particular day, I was healing myself because I was kind of sick. And then I started learning about my internal body. Now I was like, wow, know thyself. Know that it's blood vessels in you that you can take apart and they wrap around the world twice. Know that the DNA that you hook together can go from here to the sun 3 or 4 times. Know that you can really heal yourself if you talk to yourself. Know that you can go out like I do and go talk to trees. Yes, I talk to trees because, as a simple fact, trees and us have an understanding that they don't even have to do with verbal meaning, a verbal saying, meaning that the tree, what? They give us what? Oxygen. Yeah. We give it what? Carbon dioxide. We have a relationship, but not the trees. That's with all the plants. Yeah, all everything. So we are all connected. That matter of fact, that's what our lecture was about. My lecture was about the universe is in you and you are in the universe. Right. You see what I'm saying? So that's right. As it is above, so below. So when we can understand that we all are connected, so when I see my brothers and sisters hurt, I know for a fact I hurt also. You see what I'm saying? That's my passion. My passion has always been for my people. I love my people so much. Sometimes when I was learning what I was supposed to be taught with myself, I used to cry, especially during, oh man, I got a story to tell you. My son, one day he called me up, said, Daddy, come get me. The police is up here. The man poured water on me with the water hose. It was raining and he was trying to go get some shelter underneath the gas station. So the guy told him to move. He said, look, my bus coming in a minute. I'm just trying to keep out of the wrong. He said, move. So he came out with the water hose and sprayed my son with it. All right. So what happened was that my son called the police.
I was walking away, by the way.
Right.
And
he sprayed the water. Right.
I was lost.
Right. He did the right thing. He called the police. Police came up there and thought he could have put handcuffs on him. Long story short, right. So what happened now, he called me. Now I'm coming up there, right? So I'm rolling up there, and I rolled all the way up there. How old was you then?
I was in high school. I was in my 12th grade year.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So I rolled up there, and I'm like, I'm going to see this guy. And the ancestors, when I got out the car, seriously, the ancestors say, okay, you're going to see him. So is he going to say anything that you lack? I said, no. He said, well, what you going to do when he say what you don't like? I got back in the car because I knew something was going to happen. Right. But he handled it very well. So, look, we went.
As a parent, I would have lost.
Check. We went to the courtroom. And I never, you never know what your children going to say. He got up there and the judge asked him, and he went back to,
Civil rights era.
the civil rights era when the water hose, right? Because I showed them that movie. I showed all of them that movie. I can't even think of the name of the movie now. But anyway, a documentary rather. Anyway, he brought that up.
Eyes on the prize?
Keep your eyes on the prize. That's right. That's what it was. He said, when I seen that in the water hose, when he put that water on me, I thought about that.
Yeah.
And so the judge did a little white boy a little spanking and told him about how, what he was feeling, you see what I'm saying? So with that saying, the system that we have down here is a whole holistic system. Yeah, he was found guilty, yeah.
Did he get any time?
No time. We should have sued his, excuse me. But yeah. But that was just a spank on the hand. But the part about it, the lesson was though, that I told him, you always stand up for yourself. And I told him two things. I said, if we don't get what we should get, we got his address.
But initially, the police came. The police came. When the police came, they turned against me. The police that I called turned against me. But so we didn't stop there though. When I got home, we called him again. Then we found the address, and then he got locked up. So to me, he got locked up. He had to do community service. He had to pay some money. Yeah. So I was fine. You understand? Because he thought that he was going. He thought it was nothing, and most other people would have did nothing. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
or the wrong thing.
Or would have did something else differently.
Right. So both of you all handled the situation.
Yeah, because I was going up there. That's my son.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but with that being said, in my lifetime, I'm gonna tell you a little story what made me come into conscious. All right. It can go way back in life, and I got baptized. It started really then. When I got baptized, all the other little children came out. They were shaking, hollering, hallelujah, and all. I came out. I said, "Mom, I'm cold. Give me the towel." Now, this ride back home, this true ride. When I'm riding back home, I'm thinking to myself in the back of the car. My father was head deacon. I'm sitting in the car and I'm thinking, why didn't you come and get me? You got all the other little children. Why didn't you come bring me some of that? Why I didn't get the Holy Ghost?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Why I didn't get it? That's why them other little peasants didn't get it. My father head deacon. Why didn't I get it, right? And that's when I came up. So if you ask yourself a question and your mind don't get an answer, you will answer it your own self. So my little childish mind answered its own self. I said, I must be the devil's child. Okay? That was real. I couldn't even tell my mother or my father how I felt because they were so busy in church. And I know my father was real because he was a real old Southern deacon. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, man, I must be the devil's child because I didn't get it.
Virginia, right?
Yes, I didn't get it. You see what I'm saying? So from that, on up in life, I came to one decision, and it came to what? I said, I'm going to be on the quest of finding the true religion. And that's what I went on. I went on looking at every religion I could come across, studying all of it. And then I came to the conclusion all of it is right. Because it all is celebrating some kind of super being, spiritual being, or some higher power in this life. You see, so everybody's doing that, and some people are doing more work than those people who say they're doing work. You see what I'm saying? So that's when I came to the conclusion: as long as you're doing work, if you're a good Buddhist, be a good Buddhist. Right. If you're a good Muslim, be a good Muslim. If you're a good Christian, be a good Christian. Whatever you do, be good in that what it's supposed to be, and then you'll be right. But when you are hating somebody else because they are something else, now you. To me, you like a gang member. You see what I'm saying? I'm a Protestant. You see, I'm a Catholic, or I'm a Jehovah's Witness. You see what I'm saying? Right. That's worse as karate. My teacher told me the Shorin karate is better than any karate in the world, and I believed it for a minute because it's tradition. So that's when I came up with Sokima. We even create our own katas. We even create our own bow kata. I got a bow kata I'm doing now. Bow kata is the bows that you fight with. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So,
what's a kata?
Kata is a form that you go through. You know, like a fighting form.
So when you say bows, or you say when you fight, are we talking like bow and
Not a bow and arrow. That's a bow and arrow. A bow is like a stick.
Okay.
Yeah. And why I like bow? I chose bow out of all my weapons because bow I can take on the street. I can't take a sword on the street.
Right.
I can't take anything else on the street that they teach you with as weapons, but a bow. Yeah, I still got a stick. Right, this is my stick here. It might be a little shorter, but it's still a stick. You see what I'm saying? But with that, I think we do some good work down here. Really, I do. You know what I'm saying? You know, and these young men right here, like I say, they pulled me back in from really grieving on myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nobody's listening in the world. Nobody want to listen to us, you know. And just today, and I'm going to cut it short, just today, my nephew is 82 years old, you know. And, yeah, he came over my house. I was cutting his hair. And as I cut his hair, he was telling me, you know, I'm getting sick of Reverend Williams. This is preaching down Virginia, because he always talk about African stuff. Reverend Williams is 84 years old, but he been in Egypt and he been around the world, so he want to share these things with these country folks. And he was saying they always talking, and about Africa. And I say, you know what, nephew, for real, you're 82 years old, and I'm not trying to change you. I said, but just listen to what you're saying. I say, you are really talking about yourself. If you don't want to talk about Africa, you're really talking about, and that's a hatred that we have for ourselves. I say, but I bet you one thing you never said. I bet you never said you didn't want to hear no more about that Jewish shit. I bet you never said you didn't want to hear about David. I bet you never said you didn't want to hear about none of them Jew boys. Right. How long we've been listening to them, and they've been telling us about it. But I never heard none of my people say that. And see, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
That's a big problem.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
And see, brother, I know you already know about Sababu, the editor and publisher of Blueprint for Black Power. Because remember that book was published posthumously by Sababu. You know, Dr. Amos Wilson transitioned in '95, and the book came out in '98. He's getting ready to, Baba, come out with a book based on several of Dr. Amos Wilson's lectures, and the name of the book is going to be called The Psychology of Self-Hate. And that should be coming out in November, so I'm looking forward to getting a copy of that. So, you know, Dr. Amos Wilson, in a lot of his lectures, he talked about self-hate and the psychology of self-hate. So, Brother Sababu, or Baba Sababu, is going to publish a book based on the speeches and the writings of Dr. Amos Wilson. There are a lot of things that he wrote that it was never published. So he's trying his best to put all of those writings into different books. So yeah.
I was gonna say, Dr. MAAT, thanks for that. I think a good segue, right? So you know, that's another thing we do at the temple. I'm a clinician, so what we do at the temple really is about healing. It's about elevating. It's about healing, growth, elevation. It's about, you know, if you see Dr. Joy DeGrew's book right there, it's about this trauma that we really are dealing with as a people. And a lot of times, I would suggest or argue that we put the cart before we put the horse. I don't know how they say them things, right? Did I say it right? So okay, right. So and a lot of times we try to build organization, but we build organization with a bunch of sick people. And then even more than that, we don't have compassion for our people, because we talk about how sick we are and how we have self-hate, but somehow we think that that we're easily going to change. So what we do here is applied Afrocentric counseling or African-centered counseling, or applied treatment modalities, from Tai Chi to mental health counseling, right? Really. So what we do is we try to alleviate that self-hate. I'm talking about in our services, in the one-on-one. If you can see, this is also a counseling room, right? So what we do is we go through a process of healing, a process of rewiring the mind. Because not until we rewire our minds will we truly be able to do these other things we want to do. Because what happens is, when a person's been traumatized, what happens is they go back to whatever that is that caused them trauma. And sometimes we say, our people keep leaving out of the community. Our people keep doing this. And then we get upset. But I say, if we're smart in the conscious community, we should understand why they're leaving. Because if we say they are traumatized, when you are traumatized, what you do is, one of the major pieces is avoid. So if all you saw was somebody shoot your brother, you ain't really, you never saw the white man do it, even if it's directly, as a result of oppression. Trauma is very difficult to get over. It's something that we have to go through a process. So thus we build organizations, we create big platforms, we do a lot of things, and then we want to see why we still acting niggerly. I'm sorry, but why we still act these ways. And then if we can understand what trauma is and how difficult it is to get over if we don't go through that process, then we have more compassion. Because there's a lot of times we get upset at each other. But that's like saying that I didn't think you were sick. So I'm saying, if we really know that our brothers and sisters are sick, we'll have more patience. We'll have more tolerance. But because we're sick, we also traumatized, and somebody else called us an MFer. So now, when we hear MFer, we can't handle it. I think that we all should become social scientists. I know that's a big thing. Social science versus this science. No, I think we all should become our own social scientists. We all need to become social scientists so we can heal ourselves, like Baba was talking about. Because you got to know yourself. You got to know those things that trigger you. We got to know that sometimes, somehow, when I see men, it reminds me of my father who was there, who molested me, or my father wasn't there, who didn't molest me, and another man molested me, or how, my mother used to get beat up by her boyfriend, and now I see another brother doing something, and then it triggers that. So we got to understand these things get triggered. And once we realize what trauma does, we have more compassion. So that's what we do. We try to rewire, because it takes time to rewire it. We can read all the books. We got books right there. You can do all this. But until we go through that process, and we know it, but we won't do it. In the conscious community, what we say? We say, we never got the proper therapy after 400 years of slavery. Now, some people say, it wasn't 400 years. And look, shut up. But nonetheless, what I'm trying to say is, we understand what we're trying to say. Sometimes even that's traumatizing, because we get so lost in trying to point out facts and and not really realize and understand the heart. Because we got to be right. We got to know why we got to be right. Because especially if we feel threatened. If we feel threatened, our brain is wired as such as we can't make no mistakes about a threat, because we might end up dead. So we never look at the light. We never look at the good in each other. As soon as something happened to us, all we can think about is the negative. That's what happens, because the negative does what to us? We think it makes us safe, because I don't want that person to hurt me. I'm saying, damn it. If we're going to build something, if we're going to do something, then we have to understand how we work and how the human mind works. And yes, we have to deal with stepping on each other's feet sometimes, right? And understand that we're going to step on each other's feet, because we act as if we're not going to step on each other's feet, right? And then I say, well, we're not as conscious as we think we are. If we don't know that we're going to hurt each other in this process, but we have to have the compassion to get over it so we can move forward. So that's what we do at the Temple of New African Thought. We heal. And build. and elevate. And we debunk myths like hell. We debunk all types of myths. So much so that some other Pan-Africans going to be upset. You understand? Even Jared Ball came in here. He debunked the myth of black buying power. But it touches us because debunking something that you've been holding on to as some dream. Y'all know the Army Rock Squad try to debunk myths all the time. But see, that's something that people hold on to, and that's still a process as well. It's still a process. So we gotta even, rewire with compassion and care. Because sometimes we don't do it with care. What we'll ultimately do is cause more pain.
So speaking of something, give me his mic. So the last time I was here, I was on the was it the Conscious Black Business Network? I was on the Conscious Black Business Network, and I was talking with Baba Assar, Minister Assar, and we were talking about, I don't want to call it an argument, but it was like a discourse on whether or not all human beings are on the planet are African. And so Baba Assar, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Baba said that all of us are Africans because, African people are the mothers and fathers of humanity. So that was his stance. And then I said, well, no, once they left out of Africa, migrated, evolved, and began to form other cultures and nations, then that's when they were no longer African and they became non-African. Can we come to a compromise today?
Can I say what I
said? Can we come to a compromise today? Yeah. All right, but tell me what you said.
And I said this, because this is the compromise.
Okay, this is the compromise.
I see what he's saying, and I see what you're saying. It depends on what lens that we're looking at it through. Because I can understand, we understand that science is depending on what theory that we're using. And there's nothing wrong about using a theory, because especially social science, right? Social science, we have all types of theories, right? Now, we know you're an engineer, so it's got to be right or wrong, right? It's like, but in social science,
we have errors.
So y'all have error, have some error, right? Some numerical formula, and I'm glad you said it because people don't believe that exists, and the truth, because that their theories as well.
We call it a variance or standard deviation. So
absolutely, because that's in social science as well, statistics and all that type of thing, right? So we know there's error, right? It's error in everything, but the main piece is I think that we kind of have disagreements about is not understanding what the other person is saying. In fact, the book of Coming Forth Day by Night, it speaks in there about, I'm going to talk about Muhammad Ashby's version, right? Because I like it. I know a lot of people don't, but nonetheless, I like it because there's a piece in it that says that words are confusion. Seek to understand the heart. And that's why I say how we should approach situations, right? Because a lot of times we get so intellectual. And I like intellect. Believe me, I can do it. You understand? But what I'm saying is, but we have to have balance. And that's my argument about us. Some of us are so damn spiritual that we can't see the pragmatism. And some of us are so pragmatic or so literal that we can't see the spiritual. And then we start saying, well, spiritual ain't an African word. I say, well, shut up. Because everything else you said wasn't African either. So let's start making a new language up right now. Because apparently we can't have a conversation.
Even when we say the word African, right? Okay. Even when we say the word African, so I got a cousin and she's white, but she was born in Africa. She's African. Right? You see what I'm saying?
She's white and
she's born in Africa. She was born in Africa. She's an African. See, because African is just a word of identity of where a person was.
Right.
You see, if you're going to use it like that, you see what I'm saying? But with this, I'm going to say my last piece on this right here on BABATV. Thank you to Bob for coming down here. And this, I'm saying this to the so-called conscious people, okay? Because I love my children. And I heard conscious brothers all the time. I think I was talking to my son last night about this. That this matrix that our children is in, and they are led to believe or act a certain way. Because television, radio, music, and all that stuff make our children act a certain way. You see what I'm saying? And we know this really affects our children. So now I talk to conscious people that always talk about they crazy is I don't know what. You see what I'm saying? So now if you know for sure that this matrix that we are in, and it's a phony matrix that they are in, and we understand that they are in this matrix, how can we say and blame them for acting the way they act?
Right.
You see, so we got to step back sometime and say, well, we know why they act, so we try to change them maybe one at a time. So what I'm saying is that don't give up on the children. That's what I'm saying. You got to work with the children for where they are. You see what I'm saying? Even the rap that they do, maybe bring them back around to the old rap, of the beginning of rap. But we still can't lose faith in our children. That's what I say. With that, Ashe.
Ashe. So any closing words, Minister Asar, Brother Sankofa, before we get on out of here?
All right. I'd like to say thank you, Sister Mayat, for bringing by Baba. And Baba, thanks for coming by and interviewing us. Because a lot of times in the community, and I say this from a serious place, because a lot of times you will hear that people who are doing work often say, you know, when they gonna, why nobody shed light on the people that's doing the work in the streets and all that type of thing, you know, and that doesn't happen a lot of times, right? But I will say that, you know, Mama Mayat now, huh? Mama Mayat and Brother, gotta give my main man, Brother Kana, wrong name, Netaned, you know, a lot of us, you know, in Baltimore, we definitely do these type of things and kind of support each other and things of that nature. And I like to say one thing, just to kind of close it out, is in Baltimore, there's a lot of people here who's been studying for a while. My father, including Dr. Ben, and them used to come down here. I was a child. A lot of different people have come through this town. But nonetheless, what I like to say is it's some institutions here. Starting with like Sojourner Douglas College, Everyone's Place, Grub Factory. You guys been there? Grindhouse. I mean, it's numerous ones that we don't even know. So I like to say to the world is, you know, come to Baltimore, check it out, because we got a lot of people who are doing things. And why I'm saying is because I often hear people on YouTube say we ain't got nothing, and I say if we keep saying what we don't have, again, that's the trauma response, because we feel like if we say we don't have, then somehow it's going to force people to have. But what I say happens though is when we say what we don't have, ultimately people don't even know that we do have, so we can't even support what we do have. A prime example will be Sojourner Douglas College. I'm not sure how many people heard of it. A black-owned college here in Baltimore, which I graduated from, by the way, an African Senate institution, which I graduated from. And most people would never even say it existed. We talking about the Temple of African Thought. Well, we have a place. A lot of times people say the people in the conscious community, they don't have anything. You know, Grub Factory, Grindhouse, Land of Kush, all these different places we have here in Baltimore, we do have something going on. I just would press upon the people to talk about what we do have so that we can better support those things we do have. Because if we don't get the message out there of what we do have, then they'll just fold.
Minister Sankofa.
Minister Sankofa.
I'm sorry, I always call
That's
Minister
okay.
Sankofa.
Thanks for the opportunity to talk to us and to become more familiar with what it is that we do. I'll just say one last time, coming up Saturday, August 4th and Sunday, August 5th, 2-day celebration coming up soon, actually next week, our 3rd annual Into Festival, breaking the chains of psychological slavery, reclaiming our minds, bodies, and spirits. So whether you're in the city of Baltimore, whether you're in the suburbs, Philly, DC, New York, the continent, the Caribbean, wherever you are, come. All right, come. You know, heal. It's an opportunity to network, to grow, to be empowered, and to elevate. 3221 Bel Air Road, Baltimore, Maryland. Come on out. Check us out.